Hello friends, my name is Vikas Kumar Tyagi and I welcome you all for the second lecture of the strategic management. In the last class, we covered the topics such as strategies, strategic management, tactics and policies. You can see the last video for this, and today we are going to study the topics strategy paradox, levels of strategy and elements of strategies. As always, we will start with the new terminology, the strategy paradox. The strategy paradox is the term which is given by Michael Renaud in his book by the title name itself. Basically, what do you mean by paradox? Paradox is a logically self-contradictory statement. Basically, paradox is a logically self-contradictory statement. Like the egg and chicken paradox, you must have heard about the egg and chicken paradox. Like which came first, whether the egg came first or the chicken came first. If we say the chicken came first, then it will be logically contradicting its own statement that if chicken came first, then from where the chicken actually came. The second example for the paradox is the grandfather paradox, in which if a person travels to the past when their grandfather was a child and that kid kills his grandfather, then it would make his own birth impossible. Then if he is not getting birth, then who is actually going to kill his grandfather? And if nobody is actually going to kill his grandfather, then in that case the kid will be born. And if the kid will be born, that kid will be going to kill his grandfather. And if the kid is going to kill his grandfather, then that kid is actually not getting the birth. So this is basically a paradox which a statement actually contradicts itself. Like it becomes illogical. The statement become illogical. In its own self, it's logical, but in complete sense, it becomes illogical. In the same manner, what do you mean by strategy paradox? Most of the strategies are basically built on specific beliefs and assumptions about the future. And actually, the future is very uncertain and unpredictable, right? And a good strategy should be differentiated. It should be different. It should be unique from what the industry, its competitor are doing. So if it's different, if it's very unique, so its assumptions will be also very unique and its assumptions about the future will also be very uncertain. So if the assumptions will be uncertain, and so will lead to the chances of failures of that particular strategy. Okay, so strategy paradox actually says that greater the possibility of the success of the organization by having a very good strategy will also have the greatest possibility of its failure, because a very unique strategy will give a unique and good results to the organization, but very unique strategy will require very unique assumptions, and those assumptions will lead to the unpredictiveness, and that unpredictiveness can also lead to the greatest possibility of the failure in the future. So basically we can also say that the determinant of success is a good strategy. In addition to that, determinant of a failure can also be a very good strategy, very different and unique strategy. So in totality, if we conclude, we can say that the success, opposite of the success is not failure, it is mediocrity. Opposite of the success is not failure, it is mediocrity. For an example, if we say that there is light, so there is light. When there is light, there are photons revolving in the room. But when it is dark, the dark is not the opposite of light. Basically, in real sense. There is absence of photons, so darkness doesn't contain any kind of particle like the light is actually having. Okay, now coming forward to the presentation, the content of this presentation will be the levels of strategy and the elements of strategy. Starting with the levels of strategies, there can be four different types of levels of strategy, that is corporate level strategy, business level strategy, functional level strategy, and operational level strategy. If we talk about the roles, what are the roles and responsibilities which will be determined in each level of the strategy, then we can say that the corporate level strategy is about how, in which area the businesses will be competing. Whereas in business level strategy, the things like how the businesses will be done, how the company will be competing with its competitor will be coming into the business level strategy. Then what will be coming in functional level strategy? In the functional level strategy, the day-to-day activities which will be required to fulfill the corporate and business level strategy will be consisting in the functional level strategy. Different functional level strategy will be like in HR, finance, marketing, etc. Now talking about the operational level strategy, what is the operational level strategy? Basically, many of the literature, many of the authors are not including the operational level strategy in the levels of strategy because they consider it to be tactical in nature. It is basically the first touch point, in any organization, the salesperson, delivery person of that organization. As already discussed, that many textbooks are not covering the operational level strategy in the levels of strategy. Reason being, they consider it as a tactical in nature. Strategies basically help in the utilization of the resources and fulfillment of the objectives. But if we talk about the importance of the strategy, all these strategies, all the levels of the strategy will be helping in this particular role. If we talk about the strategy, if we move from corporate level strategy to the functional level strategy, then the scope of this particular step will keeps on narrowing. For an example, if you talk about the corporate level strategy, its scope will be very broad. Whereas if we move downwards, the scope will be becoming narrower, right? The corporate level strategies will be very less detailed and not very specific. But if we move down, the things will become more and more specific in nature, more and more concrete in nature. And all these strategies, all these levels of the strategies have two-way influence on each other. If we talk about the two-way influence on each other, what do you mean by the two-way influence? Two-way influence means if you are making a corporate level strategy, it will be having an impact on the business level strategies and functional level strategies. And the way the operational level strategies will be performed will be having a great impact on whether the corporate level strategies were fulfilled or not. If we move downwards, the impact of the level of that particular strategy will keep on reducing. For an example, if there is a corporate level strategy made in any organization, its impact will be very large, whereas the impact of the operational level strategy will be not as large as the corporate level strategies. The corporate level strategies are formulated for the longest term. For long term, the corporate level strategies are formed, whereas the operational level strategies, which are mostly tactical in nature, will be for the shortest duration of the time. The corporate level strategies will be having the long term objectives, whereas the short operational level strategies will be having the short term objectives. If we talk about the resources involved, then in the corporate level strategy the resources involved will be the maximum, whereas if we move downwards, the resources required in the operational level strategies or functional level strategies will be not as large as the resources which will be required in the corporate level strategies. In a smaller organization, all these roles, all these decisions will be performed by a single person. A single person will be making the corporate level strategies and the operational level strategy. Whether if we talk about a sweet shop, then the same person will be making a decision whether they want to extend their area of the shop and whether they want to give any kind of a discount to the customer or a cash discount. So it will all will be decided by a single person. So in any organization all these decisions will be important. It doesn't matter whether the single person is making all those decisions or a large team of group of people is making those decisions, but all these decisions will be made in any kind of a organization, whether that organization is a big or small. If we talk about the responsibilities, then whose responsibility is to form a corporate level strategy? Corporate level strategies are basically formulated by the top level management for the whole organization, whereas the business level strategy will be formulated by the general managers of that strategic business unit, whereas functional level strategy will be formulated by the head of the major functional units within that strategic business unit, and those functional units can be your HR, marketing, finance, operations, etc., IT also. Then what who is deciding the operational level strategy? Operational level strategy is determined by the plant manager and the lower level supervisors. If we talk about the example, let's discuss one example. What uh, at what level the corporate level strategies will be formulated. The corporate level strategy will be formulated to the level of the company named Alphabet. But if we talk about the business level decisions or business level strategies, they will be formulated in the business units of Alphabet, which are Google, Nest, YouTube, Android, etc. And the functional level strategy will be in the HR department of the Google, for an example, and the operational level strategy will be even more specific, even more narrower. If we talk about it, then it can be, the example can be the recruitment team in the local HR department of Google. If we talk about the examples, then what are the different types of examples? What are the different examples of the corporate level strategy? There are many questions which are asked in any kind of an interview or written examination, where you have to explain the different types of strategies. In the different types of the strategies, you have to tell the different levels of the strategies, and you have to give the examples in each level of the strategy. For an example, in if we talk about the corporate level strategy, then the grand strategy like stability, expansion, retrenchment, divestment, or diversification, all these grand strategies will be coming into the examples of the corporate level strategy. But if we talk about the business level strategies, then the cost leadership, differentiation, focus strategies, all these will be coming into the business level strategies. And if we talk about the functional level strategy, then the HR strategy, marketing strategy, finance strategy will be coming into the in marketing, like what will be the price strategy, product strategy, promotional strategy, right? All all these decisions will be coming into the functional level strategy. But if we talk about the operational level strategies, they are basically the first level of strategies, and they are mostly tactical in nature. Okay. Now coming to the second part of this today's presentation, that why many strategies fail. Why many strategies fail? Mostly strategies fail because they are not different from their competitors. They are same things which they are the same things which your competitor is doing. If you are doing the same things which your competitor is doing, then it will not, definitely it will not lead to the success of the organization. And secondly, we can say that the strategies are the group of choices. And if we talk about, like in last lecture also, we discussed that the strategies are a group of choices which you select out of n number of choices which are available to you for decision making. So if it's a group of choices, so they are not having a cohesion between them. So if there is no cohesion between the different choices which the organization is having, then it will also lead to the failure. Many organizational leaders consider strategies as goals. Goals are not the strategies. Strategies are the way through which you will be reaching those goals. Actually, the goals are the outcomes. You should not consider goals as the strategy. Strategies are the ways through which you will be reaching to those goals. You cannot just make the goals. You have to make solid plans, and strategies are basically about the planning. Many strategies also fails because the companies lack the communication. The companies are not able to communicate their strategies, their plans, their goals to the basically to their employees, to their teams, to their different teams in the organization. And many of the organization, even when they are communicating the strategies, they are not actually communicating the logic behind the formulation of that particular strategy, or basically behind that particular plan. So you just don't have to communicate the strategies to the team members. You should also communicate the logic behind the implementation of those strategies. And in addition to that, it will be best if you can consult all the levels of employees while formulating the strategies, because it has been seen that the employees will be able to perform and achieve even the very high targets if those targets were set by themselves and not announced or dictated or instructed by their seniors. And in addition to that, many of the times the organization makes changes. Organization makes different types of strategies, and they try to implement those strategies suddenly. But you cannot implement the strategies suddenly. You need to give time to the organization. You need to give time to the employees to understand that strategy, and then give time for the success of that particular strategy. It will not be giving results in a day or a two. Coming to the elements of strategies, it's also a very important topic which is not mainly given in many of the textbooks or the syllabus of many universities, but I have tried to incorporate it because it really helps when we are writing the examination, and it also helps a lot when we are attending any kind of interview of any kind of an interview where they are asking you the questions to formulate the strategy for any particular organization or department of that particular organization. So if we talk about the elements, these are the 5 elements which make a strategy successful, or which completes a particular strategy. If we talk about different types of strategies, a strategy will also need to have all these elements, and there should be an integration between all these elements, and you need to give answer to all these elements for getting the organizational success. For an example, if we are talking about this model was given by Hambrick and Fredrickson, and it's also known as the strategy diamond or the Hambrick and Fredrickson model. It talks about the arena where the organization will be active. It talks about the differentiator, like how differently you will reach there, how differentiation you will, what kind of a differentiation you will be creating against your competitors, which kind of a vehicle, like how you will be able to reach over there, by using which method you will reach there. It talks about the staging. What do you mean by staging? Staging means the pace, the sequence, or the uh, speed of the decisions which you will be taking, the choices which you will be taking in that strategy. Now, last is economic logic. What do you mean by economic logic? Economic logic is one of the most important element of any kind of a strategy, because this helps in getting the returns to the organization. By this method only you will be getting returns in the organization. So let's discuss all these elements in much more detail in the subsequent slides. If you talk about the arena means in which product categories you will be dealing with, which channels you will be dealing it, in which market segments you will be dealing it, which geographical areas you will be dealing it, right? So let's discuss the example of it. For an example, Amway uses authorized at Amway used to have authorized distributors for their products, whereas the Ponds use the mix approach. We cannot say which approach was right or which approach was wrong, but they both used the different approaches to sell their products, right? In the similar manner, the Samsung and Mi have very diverse product ranges, whereas iPhone and OnePlus are having very not as diverse product range as the Samsung and Mi is having. So we cannot say that the strategy used by the Samsung is right or the strategy used by iPhone is right. We cannot say that. It totally depends upon the kind of a product. If we talk about the second element of the strategy, it is differentiator, that how you are going to create a different position from your competitor, whether you are creating a different position in the terms of price or styling or the product or the image of that particular product or the features of that particular product, how you are going to create a different positioning in the mind of the customers. For an example, earlier the Audi was considered to be low quality and high priced product, but they had two options. Either they could have become the cost leader, or they could have become a high priced at the high quality product. They opted the second option and they tried to become a very high quality, high priced product definitely, but a very high quality product car, and they were able to achieve that particular target. Coming to the vehicle means how you will be able to get there, whether you will be making the internal development or you will be franchising or making acquisitions or something like that, through which manner you will be able to get there. For an example, let's discuss the example of Walmart. For an example, entered into the market such as Argentina by opening their own stores organically. They opened their own stores over there. They didn't have any kind of acquisition, or they didn't have had any kind of a joint venture with any kind of organization. Whereas in England and Germany, they purchased the existing retailers and modified them, transformed them into the Walmart, as per their Walmart's culture, as per the Walmart's positioning, right? So in both the countries they use the different approach. We cannot say whether the approach was right in which country or not, but we can definitely make this assumption that in Argentina there were no very high good quality uh, competitors available to whom the company could have purchased, right? But in England and Germany already there were very good high quality competitors which the company purchased and modified them into the Walmart. Coming to the staging, what speed, at what sequence, at what pace you will be making all those moves. For an example, Walmart had a very big business in United States of America, it had two options. First option was to take its time and have a very good stronger base in United States or move internationally. But they delayed that particular process. They delayed the international move, and they stayed in United States of America, and they forgo the opportunity. That opportunity, like if they had entered earlier, they must have get the first mover advantage, and they must have even able to spread the cost of the entry. Like whenever you are entering any particular any country, there are different costs of entry. So if they would have entered earlier, the cost of entry would have been spread to the longer period of the time. But they opted to stay in United States of America and have a stronger base in United States of America. They stayed in United States of America, and still they are still the largest retailer in the world, offline retailer definitely. So and Walmart is definitely the undisputed leader in the global retailing. So at what pace, like at what time, at what sequence you have to enter, whether you have to develop your base in United States of America, or you have to first enter internationally and then make a base in United States of America, the this is a staging basically. Coming to the most important point about the elements of the strategy, which is economic logic. Economical logic means how you are going to obtain the returns to the organization, whether you are going to obtain the results in the terms of the lowest prices, by obtaining the scope and scale advantage, or you are going to charge the premium prices for the kind of services or features which you are giving to the organization. For an example, BBK Electronics having all these options of Oppo, Vivo, OnePlus, Realme, and IQOO. Although I haven't heard about IQOO much about this company, but all these brands are coming under the brand name of, under the parent firm of BBK Electronics. All of them are having a different kind of a unique business model, revenue model. One of them is featuring on the quality of the product, the other one is featuring on the price of the product. So we cannot say that one of the approach is right or the another approach is right, but it definitely depends upon the kind of the product through which you are going to sell to the organization, right? Like after discussing the elements of the strategies, after discussing the levels of the strategy, what are the elements of the strategic plan? This we will be studying in the subsequent class, that what are the elements of the strategic plan. That was, those were the which we studied were the elements of the strategy. These are the elements of the strategic plan which we will be studying in the next class. This is for today's class. Thank you so much.